10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think they're gonna win it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
And thanks to those joining me live and those who have been joining me on the archive, D-Style here. Make sure you hit the like button if you're listening on the archive. Hit the bell button that way you're notified every time D-Style comes on live. The times are very random. All right. If you haven't already checked notifications, make sure it's selected on the all. You can always deselect it and reselect it if you're not getting those notifications. I know Wheelchairman John said he's finally getting his. That's good. Shout out to Jesus M. Boy, oh boy, do I have some things I want to talk about. All right. First of all, it is Thanksgiving week. I hope everybody is, this is the busiest travel day of the year. This is the busiest time of year, really. And then starting Friday, it's the busiest day of shopping. There's a lot going on. And I hope everyone is with their loved ones. And I hope everyone has a lot to be thankful for and all that good stuff. I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in, especially in such a busy week like Thanksgiving week. Okay, make sure you share the content on social media platforms. Much appreciated. Feel free to tag me on Twitter. I'll always retweet it. If you do, share it. So I do appreciate everybody that's out there. Remy says he is listening. I appreciate you, brother. Hope everything is good on your end. I might even do a show tonight. I'm not sure yet, but in case this is it for the week, just want to tell everybody happy Thanksgiving. All right. I'm live on X. I'm live on YouTube. So there you go. If you're live on X, you can always come to the YouTube channel. And join the chat, by the way. Just putting that out there. Look, Paulie Malignaggi is tired. He's sick and tired of people making comparisons to Canelo in the last few years to the last few years of Mayweather's career. He's absolutely tired of it. It's not the same thing, he says. And he just hates those comparisons. Teddy Atlas is joining in with him on a video I saw. That's interesting. Of course, the ring top 10 pound for pound, something I want to touch on, and so much more. All right, and Benavidez fighting Zurdo has been announced, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? And we're going to go from there. But hey, you know what I mean? So look, Paulie. We get that Paulie doesn't like Canelo. And yes, that's his prerogative. He doesn't need to like Canelo. Okay? That's cool. I don't care that he doesn't like Canelo. It honestly doesn't do anything for me. Like, it's whatever to me, right? If Paulie doesn't want to like Canelo, that's cool, bro. All right, you don't need to like the guy. You don't like the way he moved. You don't like his decisions. You personally didn't get fights that. Sorry, you didn't get fights that you personally wanted. I must be allergic to Paulie Malignaggi. I'm over here sneezing and stuff. But shout out to Tony Boswell with the membership. Much appreciated, brother. All right, guys, to join the membership is 99 cents a month. It's good to support your fellow content creators, by the way. It keeps us independent, right? the less you support your content creators, the more likely a lot of them get bought out. The more likely they become PR wings for promotional outfits, right? They become PR wings even for networks now, right? In many cases, they're doing it for free. So I don't even know why they pay a lot of these dudes, but like it's just important to um, support content creators, right? Shout out to Tony Boswell, okay, who's a very very hardworking dude. So shout out to him, all right, and all that good stuff.
I'm a hard working man.
That's right. All right. So look, it's Thanksgiving weekend. We're week that is really it's Wednesday. I don't know what I'm talking about. I guess the weekend is kind of long during the holidays, right? But Paulie Malignaggi is getting triggered because people. One of the main criticisms that people are giving Canelo right now, right, is he's moving too much like money. He's in the Money Mayweather stage of his career, right, where he's just cashing out. He's no longer interested in making the very best fights. His the way he's moving is clearly showcasing that. Canelo, some feel that he's earned it, some don't care. Whatever the case is, they just feel Canelo's been moving in a way that we just don't like. He's been moving in a way that is very much alike, like and aligned with Money Mayweather, the way Mayweather was moving in the latter stage of his career, before the Pretty Boy Floyd stage, right? And Paulie is tired of hearing that. Apparently, so is Teddy Atlas. I saw a video where they're both just ranting and raving, right? And it's not the same thing. So why are they doing this, right? Why are they? First of all, people are saying this to criticize Canelo. They're not. Maybe some are saying it to I guess not criticize him. Maybe there's some that feel like, oh yeah, when you reach that point of your career, hey, you know what I mean? Even the Leonard Allerbys of the world were joining in. Like, hey, Canelo's at that point of his career. Even Floyd Mayweather reached a point where he even said, Canelo, you've done it all. You got nothing else to prove. Remember that video that Floyd Mayweather made? And people make that, whether it's in a negative or positive, they're making that comparison because the comparison is, look, he's no longer interested in facing the very best and proving himself. He doesn't feel he needs to answer to anybody, whether it's the media, the fans, his fellow peers. He doesn't care. He's earned the right to do what he wants to do. He's a cash cow. And when you become the cash cow like a Mayweather was, this is the way they move, right? And I think most objective people will agree that there's some similarities with the way Canelo has been moving in the last 2 years or so and the way Money Mayweather was moving in the latter stage of his career, right? Anybody could see that. But why is Paulie why is he getting triggered at this? And why is Teddy Atlas joining on and joining forces with him, I guess, with this? Every time this comes up, I mean, Paulie he's got his talking points down. People, they compare it to the way Floyd, but it's not even the same thing. I mean, Floyd was at least fighting world champions, and Canelo, he was fighting cab drivers, and like that's his new talking point. That's what he's doing, right? But it's really like, let's really hit this one home for a second, right? Let's really like dive in because he even caught himself when he was talking to. I wish I had the clip, by the way. I just couldn't find it before I went live. But it's out there. He's talking to Teddy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Canelo." And I don't want to compare later since Canelo to what Floyd, who was in his early 20s, yet he did, right? Oh, Canelo, look at what he did. He fought Renato Hernandez. And when there was other champions he could have fought, but he fought the tough one. And then Mayweather, he defended against Corrales, and then he moved up. He fought Castillo. He's talking about pretty much Floyd. What he's done. Shout out to Eric Gomez. Not Eric Gomez from Golden Boy, a different Eric Gomez. Shout out to him. So I'm trying to get this, right? Because Jesus Name is one of those other apologists, right? Of Mayweather. It's okay. right? See, the deal is, the problem is, right? Like, here's the problem. And I had the fellow dude from the Spit Bucket, last week come on here and say, this didn't start with Mayweather. Here's another one. It wasn't Mayweather. It was after Mayweather. No. Like, Mayweather is the godfather of the way everything and everyone is moving right now. All right? He's the godfather of how watered down the championships have really become. Right? He's one of the godfathers. Not the only one. Right? He's one of the guys that beating so many world champions in an era with so many world titles, to use that as some type of evidence that he's better than the greats of the past because he beat more world champions. Right? That started with Mayweather. I beat the most world champions ever. Me. I beat more world champions than Ali. Well, I would think so. Because you fought in the 4-belt era, Floyd, 3-belt, and then into the 4-belt era, Floyd. Floyd Mayweather benefited by the numbers, right, to stack up his numbers, to pad his resume. That's what that he is the godfather. I was here talking about it way back in 2011. It's only gotten worse, by the way. So I don't want to hear Floyd crying when every other fighter breaks all his records, because there's world champions everywhere you look now, right? Guys like Rolly Romero becoming world champion. So everybody who beats him, they're going to add a world champion to the resume. So when Paulie says, oh, Floyd was fighting world champions, well, that's a little watered down, isn't it? It's a little watered down now, isn't it, Paulie? I don't know what you might say. Well, even it being watered down, he still fought guys that won world champions. Canelo did, right? Here is the issue. And this is the issue I had with Canelo fighting Berlanga. When he fought Berlangas, when he fought Bear Nalgas, you guys heard me because I was loud. You guys heard me because I made it clear that I fucking hated that fight. What was my line? What was I saying? What was I saying? What was I saying? Vale verga la fight. Translation, the fight fucking sucks. The fight sucks. All right? That's what I was saying. Why is it? One, because it did. And I knew it was going to open this Pandora's box. Right? I knew that's what was going to happen. And deservedly so. Canelo deserves every bit of criticism for taking that fight. I wasn't defending that fight. It was a trash fight. He should not have fought Berlanga. And you can't make arguments like Benavidez brings nothing to the table, but then fight Berlanga, right? These are all the things I said. However, let's not act like Berlanga is the only dude that Canelo's fought. All right? Let's not act that way either. Paulie's making it seem like he's fought nothing but Edgar Berlangas for the last 3 years. That's not what happened. All right? It's this what it is. Now, Paulie should know a thing or two about losing to a guy that moved up to 2 weight classes to get a win, because that's what Broner did to him, right? So Paulie is an expert when it comes to that. He should know about that, right? Now, Broner's no Terrence Crawford, but nonetheless, right? Adrian Broner moved up 2 weight classes to beat Paulie Malignaggi, all right? So he knows all about that. Paulie knows all about ducking because he ducked Keith Thurman, right? Keith Thurman looked at him at a press conference and said, "Don't duck me, son. Don't duck me, son." He was doing the whole, nobody knows who you are, yada, yada, yada. You know what Paulie was doing, right? So Paulie, he's an expert when it comes to these things. I get it. But nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, my issue is this. Now you want to rewrite history. You and guys like Teddy Atlas justified the way Mayweather was moving for many of those fights. You had no criticisms at all. You never criticized Floyd. You never criticized the way he moved, right? You're always swinging off his nuts, right? And now that people are bringing up Floyd's name in a negative light to say, I can't believe Canelo's starting to move the way Mayweather was moving the later stage of his career, all of a sudden, you got an issue with it, right? All of a sudden, no, that's not what was happening, because you know you're guilty of justifying the way Mayweather was moving, all right? It makes you look like hypocrites. That's why you're fighting so hard against that. And enough years have passed by, right? And Mayweather stayed undefeated, so it makes it very easy and convenient for you to defend. But we're not, you see, the issue is we're not going to hold back here now, are we? Raise your hand, right? If you're out there, if you're listening, I'm going to ask you guys some questions, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to propose some questions for you guys. You guys tell me, you guys are in the chat. How many of you were ecstatic, excited, and were demanding Mayweather to fight Juan Manuel Marquez when he came back from his phony-ass retirement? Can somebody tell me? You tell me, were you excited for that fight? The fight, by the way, that Mayweather did not even honor his contractual obligation. He paid the fee, the fine, to not make the weight that he agreed to, by the way. That's what he did. And shout out to Marcus, who can't shut up about Canelo having weight clauses at any point of his career. When he had a weight class on Floyd just paid the fucking fine. But shout out to Marcus nonetheless, because we're in the middle talking about hypocrites. All right? Just because Mayweather didn't honor it doesn't mean I don't know what you were trying to do, Marquez. I see you, Marquez. Oh, he put weight clauses on guys. That's what you were doing to Floyd. That's what you attempted to do to Floyd. You just got out hustled. All right? I remember Marquez, remember Marquez looking at the weight, at the scale? He was like, and we find out the fight wasn't even signed yet, by the way. Golden made him sign it afterwards. Like, well, we're already here, so he's going to pay the fine, so. That's what happened. Don't think I forgot about you, Marquez. I have not forgotten about Juan Manuel Marquez trying to attempt to do the same shit, right? Did Marquez ever fight at 147, like legit? Or was it always catch weight? I don't know. You guys look that one up. Chuck Iverson, how's it going, brother? But I digress. Should I go with Andre Ward too, or what? Remember Andre Ward? Oh, he makes guys move down from their weight class to fight him, and that's what he did to Dawson. Oh, but that was different. Dawson called me out while Bivol was insisting on doing 168 too. But you were critical of it before it even happened. It's insane. All right? With that said. So, back to Paulie. Paulie, the guy that also lost a guy moving up to weight classes. And Adrian Broner. The same Adrian Broner that took his side piece, right? Don't talk about my side piece. Right? That Adrian Broner that rubbed it in his face, and Paulie lost his shit after the fight, right? You know that tone Paulie had when Broner rubbed it in his face that he took his girl? He's like, stop talking about my side piece. Remember that? That same tone. That's how he talks about Canelo. That's why he loses his shit when someone brings up a good point about Canelo. That's how Paulie talks, with that same high-pitched, like dramatic tone. It's the same tone, same one. Listen carefully. There was this pro box show, right? Like they do this show, right, for boxing thing, and Paulie brings up, Yildirim, and Algieri, shout out to him, brings up the phenomenal point, the point we've been making for years, right? That Paulie, I mean, you're bringing up Yildirim, but I mean, Yildirim was in the year where Canelo fought 4 times, and he fought 3 undefeated champions. It was just like a tune-up. He just lost it. Like, you know what I mean? Since they didn't want to join in, Algieri didn't want to join in and just bashing Canelo for no reason, right? He went through his don't talk about my side piece thing. Like he did the same thing, same tone, same whatever, right? Yes, I got a new mic, Remy. I did. By the way, let me know what you guys think about the mic. By the way, this is a much more expensive mic than the last one I had. But I'm playing around with it a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm working on the switchboard, but I told you, what did I say? I got to get a new mic. I'll listen. It was making those weird, making that annoying ass noise that annoys me. I could only imagine I was annoying people. So there you go. Right? You guys help out the show. Shit. It is what it is. I got to get a new mic. Right? This is where the membership comes in, the super chats come in, all of that. It all goes back to the channel. It all goes back to helping amateur fighters in the game, and making things better for the warriors in the sport. With that said, all right. So, Paulie lost his shit. Well, I don't care. I don't care anyway. If he wasn't mandatory. Charlo wasn't mandatory. He didn't fight him. That's like, well, what does it matter? Stop talking about my side piece. Stop saying that. He fought 4 times. Who cares? That's how he talks, right? So Paulie Malignaggi, the same Paulie Malignaggi that Doug Keith Thurman openly, told him he's a nobody, and he was called out for it, told, don't duck me, son, and all that. The same Paulie Malignaggi lost to a fighter that moved up 2 weight classes after taking his girl and lost. That same Paulie Malignaggi who's an expert in those things, which is why he's so good at calling it out with Canelo, right? That same Paulie Malignaggi, the one that got worked by every elite fighter he ever fought, that same Paulie Malignaggi, right? That Malignaggi is tired of people making excuse, comparing his friend Floyd Mayweather as like there's definitely no conflict of interest whatsoever, right? A fighter that he excused and was completely okay with the way he was moving in the latter point of his career. In order for him to not sound like a fucking hypocrite, right? He's just flat out just trying to rewrite history and act like, no. Like, what do you mean? I mean, Mayweather was actually fighting world champions. Canelo, he was fighting cab drivers. I mean, I would argue that the cab drivers that Canelo fought were at the very least bottom end as good, if not better, than Paulie Malignaggi. Right? I mean, it's the way I feel. At the end of the day, the same Paulie Malignaggi that's calling Mario Barrios a horrible world champion. One of the worst world champions ever. I mean, Paulie does. I mean, he's an expert at that because he's one of the worst world champions of all time, right? So Paulie knows what he's talking about when it comes to these things. Paulie understands. All right, he's an expert. He knows what he's talking about, right? You notice the projection and how it makes him an expert in all these things. That's Paulie. So for Teddy and Paulie, we keep it real, guys, all bullshit aside. They excuse the way Mayweather moved for years. They know it makes them look like hypocrites. So people bring up, hey, we don't like how Canelo was moving. I didn't like how Canelo was moving. All right? I had dudes in my chat saying I'm a Canelo hater and all this, that, and a third. Liza was coming to my chat. Oh, stop saying that the fight vale verga. What do you want me to say? That I love the fight? I didn't like the fight. I'm with you, but he was moving in a Money May way. What do you mean? It was a Money May way. It just is what it is. What do I want to say? Mayweather created this blueprint. This wasn't a De La Hoya blueprint. And look, I've come on in, I've shredded Oscar De La Hoya. But you know what? I'm not going to criticize De La Hoya's career. I may criticize. I mean, I did call out the Pacquiao fight because that was a cherry pick. Dude's got all butt hurt and shit, but it was a cherry pick. But overall, the overall career of De La Hoya, because that was supposed to be a tune-up for him, right? It just went wrong. But the overall career of De La Hoya, his wars with Corte, fighting 7 times in a year, some crazy shit like that. His year of 97, 99 year, all those big fights that he was a part of, and then still moving up to 154 and doing that war with Vargas, the fight with Mosley. I mean, going to challenge himself against one of the best middleweights of all time, Bernard Hopkins. I'm not going to knock that. I may count him a little bit here and there, but if I keep it real, De La Hoya, that face of boxing did not create, right, the drama queens that we have today. You know, the fighters with their monios. He's not the one that created that. All right. Money Mayweather bragging about stealing the bank, about having a heist, right? Who was quoted saying, "Hey, people want to call me a coward for not wanting to fight Pacquiao now. Well, guess what? I'm a rich coward." Now my quote is. That's what he said. He said, "I may be a coward, but I'm a rich coward." Now, do I think Mayweather was a coward? No, I'm just quoting him. That's what he said. All right. A side, B side, all that type of language. It started in the Mayweather era. When we broke that fourth wall and fans started to talk like that, it started in the Mayweather era. All right? That's where it started. To be fair, drug testing. Talking about drug testing. We should do drug. That started in the Mayweather era. Right? That some people don't like that, some do. That's whatever to me. Right? But that started with the Floyd era. Less risk, high reward, marinating the fight. All that started in the Mayweather era. All of that. Paulie has a nerve to say he didn't move like Canelo, yet we had a division where you got to look at the time when Mayweather was after he beat Ricky Hatton, right? We had other welterweights who we wanted to see him fight, and he didn't fight. He didn't fight Margarito, and he didn't fight Paul Williams. Those are the fights we wanted. He retired, right? He retired. He went his own way, all right? When Martinez was middleweight champion, some of us wanted to see him do that fight. He didn't want to do it. He didn't do it. That's fine. He retired. Then he comes back and he fights Marquez. Mayweather would never fight a little dude coming up. What do you mean? He fought Mar. He won. What, just because he won the fight, like it didn't happen? He didn't honor the bullshit weight clause that Marcus tried to impose on him, right? One of the bullshit artists for not honoring what he agreed to, and the other one's a bullshit hypocrite because he tried to criticize Canelo for trying to do the same thing, right? It's like all these dudes get in a room and like, what are the fucked up shit? What are the bullshit things I did? All right, and then they leave the room. They're like, we're going to criticize Canelo about that. It's almost like they do that, right? The Mayweather mentality. That's what it was. Oh, Mayweather. It wasn't Mayweather. It was Mayweather. What are you talking about? So now, comes back, he fights Marquez. That's what he fought. All right? I mean, I'm just saying. He comes back, he fights Marquez. But before I get that, right? Because Paulie's like, he didn't fight Benavidez. He didn't fight like, you know what I mean? Mayweather fought Gotti at 140. God bless Arturo Gotti. God rest his soul. Rest in peace to his son, by the way, who tragically passed away in all seriousness. But he wasn't the best 140-pounder in the world. Shit, Floyd Mayweather admitted that. He's a B-level fighter. I'm an A-level fighter. No, that wasn't Devin Haney. Oh, that's what Devin Haney said. No, Devin Haney took it from Floyd. All right? Called Gotti a bum and all this stuff. Start to cry like he just like won like the biggest fight of his life after he beat Gotti, but call him all types of shit. But like, here's the thing: was Gotti a bum? No, but he wasn't the best. Kasazu was the best. He didn't fight him. Well, who cares? Oh, Kasha eventually lost. So what? So if and when David Benavidez finally loses, is Paulie going to just accept? Well, look, he lost anyway. Are you going to accept that? Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Will you ever accept that? Will you? You see, before we even get to when he did that fake-ass retirement, to avoid a whole fucking division, by the way, waited it out, because boxing is all about timing. Well, Canelo, it's because it's that's what Paulie said. It's when you fight him and how you fight him, and like he excused it all those years for Floyd, right? Remember when Paulie was out here just throwing accusations at Manny Pacquiao? He was just talking all this shit about Manny. Manny ain't shit, and Manny ain't dad. Man, he's a steroid user. It's obvious, he said, and he was always defending Floyd, all Floyd's moves. He was a Floyd Mayweather fanboy all those years, right? And he knows he's being a hypocrite, so he needs to try to rewrite history so people don't point it out to him, but we're here to point it out to him, right? It is what it is. You could say all you want about the division, the guys he fought. None of them were as weak as fucking Carlos Baldomir, so you could spare me that, right? It is what it is. Shamball Mitchell. Was I supposed to get excited for that shit when he moved to welterweight? What have we done? Comes back, by the way. He fought Mosley, but we're going to make the argument that Mosley was old when Canelo beat him. Well, it's not that far removed from when Floyd beat him. Like, it's not like that far away. What is it, like a 2-year difference? About it. Like, that's it. And it was very inactive. Like, he was out for over a year, Shane Mosley. Like, if we're going to talk about timing and when you fight guys, and we're going to do that, and just do it all the way then. Oh, I didn't know that Victor Ortiz, who had already been beat and make, like, Marco Maidana already made this dude quit, bro. His only win was against a relatively unproven Andre Berto, who he went life and death with. That's who he fought after the Mosley fight. And look at the career of Victor Ortiz afterwards. Like, what did he do after that? Nothing. Right? He didn't do anything. Miguel Cotto. Right? That was a great fight. Good win. Right? But, I mean, it would have been better to see him fight Cotto before he did that fake-ass retirement, though. Right? Robert Guerrero. I didn't know the Robert Guerrero fight was a fight that everybody was clamoring for. How many of you were clamoring? Yeah, he is a Glazier Floyd, and he knows he is. And he needs to justify what he's saying here, right? It's all projection. All the shit he says about like Canelo fans, how they glaze Canelo. No, that's what you were doing to Floyd, bro. And you know you were doing it. And you know for a fact he moved the same way. You know he did. Marcos Maidana, like the fact that Marcos Maidana put up a good fight against Floyd. Like, people have actually forgotten how people just were not looking forward to that fight. It was a bullshit fight. Maidana didn't even win the poll that Floyd put out, right? Who you rather see me fight? Khan or Maidana? You fight Maidana anyway. You have to fight him twice. That's what he had to do. Then he fought Pacquiao 5-6 years too late in one of the boringest fights of that magnitude ever. Although there's never been a fight of that magnitude, but well, you get what I mean. Then he fought Andre Berto. He fought Andre Berto. Was he like 37 at the time? 38? He fought Andre Berto. Who the fuck asked for that fight? Why did he fight Andre Berto for? Like, what are we doing? Andre Berto was the dude that dudes were beating up to get a fight with Floyd. Like Victor Ortiz, Robert Guerrero, like that's what it was. Then he fights Andre Berto? What the fuck are we doing? And then he was 40 at the time, but still, like he fought Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor. So give me, like, just spare me. Spare me this whole, like, no, it's not how Mayweather was moving. It was how Mayweather was moving. You guys were glazing now. You were glazing. You know you were. And now that this is reminding, the way Canelo was moving, it started to remind people of how Mayweather was moving. And they're pointing it out, right? And then, like, and it's triggering Paulie. That's what it's doing. It's triggering him. Right? He's remembering all the glazing. Paulie loved Floyd so much, right? He went over to McGregor's gym to get beat up, right? To spy for Floyd. That's how much he loved Floyd, right? He got embarrassed. They released photo of him, like footage of him getting like knocked down after he said McGregor wouldn't lay a glove on him, right? I mean, he just got clowned and embarrassed. So this day, he holds all his animosity towards MMA fans and the MMA world because he was embarrassed, right? He was embarrassed that it looked like McGregor was holding his own against him, if not maybe even getting the best of him in sparring, right? He went to the club with Floyd and afterwards, you know, friending with him because he was a little spy for Floyd. That's who Paulie is. Paulie was the dude that, instead of just saying, hey, let's do the why don't you fight Pacquiao? Paulie was one of those guys that was out here, no, like he's cheating, he's on steroids. It's impossible to be that great and move up to many weight classes. You just can't do it. He's on steroids. Even though like he never tested positive for steroids. That was Paul. That's Paulie. You were glazing for years, bro. The Andre Berto fight, well, wasn't like are you telling? That's not the type of fights that like that's what people are talking about. Nobody wanted to see him fight Maidana. There was better options than Maidana. It just happens that Maidana put up a better fight than people expected. That's all. Maidana, that same dude that Devin Alexander worked. Devin Alexander worked Maidana. If Canelo fought a dude that got beat up by somebody like Devin Alexander, he wouldn't shut up about it. So the David Benavidez fight, right? Because I'll transition to this. David Benavidez, Zurdo's announced, right? And Paulie can't stop glazing. The dude, like it's amazing, right? Can't stop glazing. Oh no, but this is a real fight for Cinco de Mayo. Not like all the bums Canelo's been fighting all these years. Like again, he's able to get away with that because he fucking fought Berlanga. Right? You fight a dude like Berlanga, brother. You know what I mean? But is Munguia any different than like a Marco Maidana at the time? Is it that big of a, really? Is Munguia Canelo, like, was it that bad? I don't think it was that bad of a fight. It wasn't the fight we wanted. I get it. But, like, Zurdo Benavidez is in the fight we want. We want Zurdo versus fucking fight Jai, bro. Well, why don't you shut up about him fighting Jai, Paulie? Why don't you talk about Jai? Well, why is that everybody's a monster until Jai's name comes up? Right? I'm gonna move up to cruiserweight, man. I just want to fight the best, man. Hey, mate. Jai said he'll fight you, but look, man, I'm gonna fight Zurdo. That's what I'm focused on right now. You ain't calling him out. You won't shut the fuck up about Canelo moving up to fight Kovalev, who was a top 3 light heavyweight at the time, right? Well, he didn't fight. Why didn't he fight Butterbean? Why didn't he fight? You won't shut up about that. About a very undersized light heavyweight in Canelo fighting the third, second best at the time. Like, you won't give him credit for that, but you're cool. You'll let a lot of this shit slide, right? It's valid to say that Canelo started to act like his own version of Money May. And people meant that as a criticism. And my God, is it triggering Paulie Malignaggi? It's triggering Teddy Atlas. They don't like us because they were Floyd Mayweather glazers all those years. All of a sudden, they care about what the fans want and what we want because they're criticizing Canelo for it. All of a sudden, people want Canelo to move the way he was moving in 2021 when he fought 3 undefeated champions. And nobody gives a fuck that he fought Yildirim because he fought 4 times, Paulie. I don't give a fuck if it triggers you, right? And it gives you these flashbacks, right, of your side piece getting taken by Adrian Broner. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. All right? I hope Algieri keeps bringing up that point to your face. It's true. Right? These dudes are like on cloud 9 now, right? And they think, well, just because Mayweather ended his career undefeated and Canelo's been beat 3 times, doesn't mean they're not doing basically the same thing. Okay? Like, it just is what it is. All right? Ed Woodson, how's it going, brother? I appreciate the super chat, man. Much appreciated. Salute style. Salute to you, brother. Happy Thanksgiving. All that good stuff. I mean, man, I didn't know that Maidana Mayweather was such a fight that we were demanding. The criticisms of that fight were worse than Mayweather and Munguia. They were worse. People were shitting on that fight. Nobody was excited about that fight. The same Marco Maidana that went life and death with an old, washed up, love handle having Eric Morales, who arguably lost that fight. The same Marco Maidana that they got outboxed and worked pretty easily against Evan Alexander. That's what he was fighting. No, but it's different because no. He fought him because he was being an opportunist. He pulled off the upset against Adrian Broner, right? So he decided to just jump on that fight right away. That's what that was. But nobody wanted to see it. And he gave Mayweather, to his credit, shout out to Maidana. And yes, he improved a lot with Robert Garcia. I know all the nuances, by the way. I get he was like a rejuvenated fighter. He was fighting better, fighting off the jab. I get all that. And that's credit to Robert. But what I want you guys to understand is I'm looking at this from the eyes of, like, just imagine if this was Canelo who fought a guy like that. Imagine if Canelo had fought a guy that was in the same shoes as Virgil Ortiz, who just a couple of fights ago got beat up and quit in the middle of a fight and said, and I quote, "I deserve better than this. I got to rethink my boxing career." Imagine if Canelo got in the ring with a guy like that. Imagine what Paulie Malignaggi would be saying. He would be glazing him the way he was glazing Mayweather. Imagine he fought somebody who had already been beaten and outboxed by someone nowhere near as good as Mayweather by outboxing him, right? And was getting worked by an old washed up Eric Morales, who had been in multiple wars. Imagine what Paulie Malignaggi and Teddy Adams would be saying if Canelo fought somebody like that. Yeah, Khan and Maidana did fight each other, and Maidana won that fight. Maidana did not knock out Shinny Khan. So it's not that before somebody, oh, but it was different. No. We're going to judge it the way they're judging Canelo. That's what we're going to do. The criticism is valid. The criticism is Canelo is done trying to prove himself. He's done, trying to show everybody he's the best, giving the fans the fights that they want. And now he's doing whatever he wants to do, giving us fights like, Berlanga, and the fights that nobody wants to see, and not giving us fights like a David Benavidez that we really wanted to see, right? Like he went through his own kind of metamorphosis where it was from his own version of a Money Mayweather, of a Pretty Boy Floyd, to now Money May. He went through that same transition. As the face of boxing, he started to feel entitled and felt he could just tell people whatever he wanted, right? And that's a valid criticism, and people are bringing up Floyd's name with it. Because it's the Money May way. All right? Marinating too long, delaying, hoping somebody else knocks them off, right? Doing long-term retirements, coming back when it's convenient, agreeing to a catch with Marquez, not even honoring Marquez's bullshit, hypocritical, weight clause and all that shit. And then fights like a dude that's known for quitting and already been beat up, like Virgil Ortiz, Victor Ortiz. If I've been saying Virgil, I apologize. Victor Ortiz, right? Fighting Mosley, like he says, Mosley was 170 years old when Canelo beat him, but it's not even that big of a difference, bro. Floyd fought Shane Mosley, let's see, 11, right? 2010. May of 2010, Floyd fought Shane Mosley. All right? 2 years later, he fought Canelo, bro. It's only a 2-year difference, bro. That's it. It's only a 2-year difference. Like, well, what are we doing? But you're not going to criticize Mayweather for that fight? Mayweather was the #1 pound for pound, fought a Mosley coming off over a 1-year layoff. It was like a year and a half, right? You don't say shit about that. Canelo fights him just 2 years later as a young fighter. Like Canelo must have been like, who was he? How old was Canelo at the time? What was his exact age? He was 21. Canelo was 21 years old when he fought Shane Mosley, bro. Right after his fights with Pacquiao Mayweather. Like, what are we doing? Oh, but we got to give him all the credit in the world for the Mosley fight, right? I'm just using your logic, Paulie. That's all I'm doing. Your glazing doesn't let you see the hypocrisy. Like, it's just what it is. It just is what it is. So with that said, Canelo, I'm going to keep this short because I got to go in a little bit, guys, but I might come on later, by the way. Saul Canelo Alvarez is out of the top 10 pound for pound of the ring, okay? He's no longer on the top 10. It just is what it is. All right. And so I could bring up the list here. No, hold on. So, Ring Magazine, the Bible of boxing. So I'm going to share this screen and let's go over it. By the way, I gotta get my own pound for pound thing going again, but Terence Crawford #1, I agree with that. Alexander Usyk, number 2. You guys know how I feel about heavyweights on pound for pound, but if you're going to have them under, I agree with that. Or Inoue 3, okay, all right. Bam Rodriguez 4 is getting his respect. Shout out to him. And then we got Bivol, number 5. So here's why I understand why Canelo is out of the top 10 pound for pound. Right? We have over a dozen weight classes. Okay? And the top 5 are pretty solid. You can't really argue with the top 5. Right? So there's only 5 spots left in the entire sport. And Canelo's coming off a lackluster win against, Skull. Before that, he went the distance with Berlanga. And he lost to Crawford in the last fight. Right? So, with that said, I'm not shocked. Like, you got Artur Beterbiev, number 6. I get that Beterbiev is coming off a loss to Bivol, but he's coming off a loss against a guy he already beat in Bivol. Right? They're 1-1. So it makes sense to me that he's still on there. Junto Nakatani is definitely a top 10 pound for pound. You could even argue he could be top 5. So we're not going to take him out. All right? Shakur Stevenson, yeah, I mean, you could definitely argue Shakur Stevenson is in the top 10. For sure. David Benavidez and Devin Haney is a little more debatable. But we've literally reached where we're only with 2 fighters that you could debate. And there's other fighters, by the way. Right? Other fighters that aren't quite top 10, but like you got like a Jayo Pataya, for example. Right? So with that said, David Benavidez, number 9. Look, this is just the way it is sometimes. We've got 3 light heavyweights in the top 10 pound for pound. With as many weight classes as we have in boxing, that's crazy. Right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, there's a lot of fighters in the sport. There's 17 weight classes. And you got 3 fighters for the same weight class. It's taking up a lot of room. For that reason, me personally, I wouldn't have David Benavidez in top 10 pound for pound. It's not that he's not worthy. I just think there's too many light heavyweights here. Right? That's just my opinion, but I could see the argument, though. Right? Devin Haney, I mean, to me, he is a top 10 pound for pound fighter right now. Right? He is. Personally. Before Canelo, to be honest with you guys, I would put Tio. I think Teofimo Lopez could be 9 or 10. Canelo is 11, 12 right now. It's I know that's a big drop off, right? I know that's a big drop off, but look, we got to keep it honest, guys. He went a distance with Berlanga. What we saw with Shiraz did to Berlanga, like those effects matter. Those optics matter. He did not look good. I gave him like 10 rounds, but he didn't look good in the fight with Skull. He won though, but he hasn't had a knockout in a while, but neither have a lot of these guys. I get it. But then he lost to Terrence Crawford. So it doesn't mean he's a horrible fighter. It doesn't mean you can't have him in the top 10. But in my opinion, even if you remove David, I would put Teofimo Lopez personally. I would keep Devin there after the last win. And that's how I have it personally. That's just me. All right? That's just me. You guys don't got to agree. You can tell me what you think, but that's how I have it. One good solid win from Canelo. He's back in the mix in the top 10 pound for pound, but it's not where he is right now, man. Like it's got to be honest. It's got to be honest. There's been a slow drop off for Canelo over the years. When once upon a time he was number one pound for pound, and he kind of started slowly dropping. He was like in the top four, then he was like in the top five, then he was outside of the top five, and then the Crawford loss happened. And it just depends. Do you think that loss was enough to kick him out of the top 10? Or is he still kind of there? Right? That's up to you. You know what I mean? Is David Benavidez stuck in open tie? I'm not going to say that. But I wouldn't mind a fight, quite frankly. I just wouldn't. There's this rush into we know why he wants to fight Zurdo. We know that, right? And but that's where we are, guys. That's my opinion. Tell me what you think. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I might be on later, but I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Before you go, make sure you hit the like button. In case I'm not able to come back on, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. A lot of people will have a little too much to drink, and they're drinking and driving out there. Don't drink and drive. And be careful with that type of stuff. And be careful out there. Hope everybody stays blessed. Hope everybody has a wonderful time with their families. And see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.